Hello, everyone. In today's episode of Flowtalks, we will dive into the world of partnerships and sustainable growth. Before we begin, just wanted to share our vision behind Flowtalks. We began Flowtalks to address common pain points within sales, marketing, customer success, revenue operations, and we bring in our in house experts to talk about these. Today, we have our partnerships expert, aka Rob Sale, who is the head of partnerships and the country manager here in Canada. The rise of partner led growth marks a significant shift in business strategies, emphasizing collaboration over competition. So, Rob, before I begin my line of questioning, is there something you'd like to say about the rise of partner led growth?
I think it is to steal a phrase from Jay McBain, who is one of the foremost analysts in this area around channel and partner for the last 30 years. It is the decade of the partner. So the last several decades have looked similar to like the decade of CRM and the rise of sales and automation around that, and then we had the rise around marketing operations and marketing automation platforms, and now we're seeing the same transformative growth model around go-to-market strategies around partnerships and building around partnerships and building around ecosystems. So it is the decade of the ecosystem.
I love that, all in for it. But when you look at ecosystems and when you look at partnerships, how do you exactly identify and select the right partners for your business? Is there a specific criteria or characteristics that you look for in specific?
Yeah, what we do here is we actually have a partner scoring model in which we put our partnerships through an evaluation process, looking at roughly around a dozen variables across different metrics, different aspects of a partnership. So, for example, we do look at whether or not they have a program, how mature that program is, how well resourced that program is, what kind of focus they have in the program. So if it's a program that's simply referral, it's light touch. There's not a whole lot to it. It has a different weighting to us than somebody that is a full co-service model. So us being an agency, we move the needle and add value to customers through the services that we provide. So SaaS businesses that have a co-service model score very highly in our regard because they are looking to generate value through the ecosystem and bring partners into the value equation. So things like that, we look at overall TAM, we look at technology, we look at their roadmap and their strategy as it relates to HubSpot, because obviously we are a HubSpot partner, so we want to make sure their roadmap is aligned. Executive relationships are exceptionally important in making sure partnerships are successful. And then we also take a thorough look at account mapping and understanding our overlaps and understanding what our total addressable revenue can be across our customer population. So tons of variables, but we map those out against a scoring matrix, and then we start to through that scoring matrix we can then start to prioritize which partnerships we are going to operationalize when and why.
Hmm, that's a great shout. I mean, it is really crucial to ensure that partnerships bring mutual benefits to support our long-term strategic objectives. So that was quite insightful. Building on that, what strategies have you found effective in maintaining and nurturing long-term partnerships?
So having a clear plan of action and having executive relationships that from the top down and always managing up and across. So partnerships typically impact the entire business, right? You're going to be looking at how do you service or integrate with this? How do you market it? What's our joint value proposition? How do we sell it? How do we co-sell? How do we co-market? Uh, how do we include it in our workflows and our process? So it really does impact everybody. So you need top down support, and that top down support needs constant nurturing and reinforcement. And those things are really, really, really critical. And managing up and across throughout the entirety of getting a partnership off the ground, and then more so even after that, making sure momentum is gained and sustained, making sure those early wins are understood, and there's some real excitement around that. Those things are critical to make sure the partnership has long-term success, but it does require broad buy-in and broad resourcing across many groups. And don't think that your job is done by getting a yes once. Get yes every single time you meet. Just about.
That's fair. That sounds fair to me. But when we even looking at even no matter how long the partnership is termed for, whether it's short term or long term, it often comes with challenges. Can you discuss any
Mhm.
challenges that you've faced while building partnerships and how you've addressed them?
Yes, many challenges, and usually they focus in on um, making sure both teams are aligned to very clear goals. So that again, sort of going back to making sure that you, everybody understands why the partnership is happening. Why are we doing this, and what value does our customer receive? So it really needs to start with what value our customer is going to receive. And if the net value is that you can't articulate it, or you're starting a partnership for other reasons, meaning, well, I just, I'm really looking for ways to get a bunch of new leads in the door. That's not starting from a place of customer value. Usually that's one sided. Usually those things may have a short term gain, but then falter out and don't provide the true long-term benefit of durable, efficient growth is what everyone's trying to achieve. So it has to start from a place of customer value, and articulating those things is super important. So I've been down those paths where you've just sort of jumped into partnerships and you haven't articulated those things and they failed. So you really need to spend that upfront time making sure that people understand those elements going in again, and executive or bought off on that.
Hmm. And besides having a shared goal of focusing on customers, it also improves alignment, and it's definitely very helpful in increasing collaboration among the partners as well. So
You bet.
yeah, that's fascinating. When we look at partnerships from a market entry perspective, how do you think it impacts your approach to market entry, especially in new or competitive markets?
Yeah, partnerships are a good way to test new markets, whether that be a market from um, technology or product, or a lot of times geography. I mean, a lot of times you don't have a feet on the street, so to speak, in a specific market or geographic region. And so having a partner be the initial person that you work with to identify what customers need in that marketplace is really important, especially because they have local context. A lot of times the things that you do, the what you say, how you approach things maybe don't map over exactly to another region. They potentially might do business differently. They might look at things with different value. So it's very important to have local context, and partners can provide that. So they're usually very good at helping you get entry or early entry or exploring entry into a new business or a new market area. So that's how, it's a good way to explore those things for sure. Um, and then you might want to start with things like co-marketing to see what kind of response that you get, and then before you invest any more activity or resource.
And you can always use these strategic alliances to leverage each other's strengths and differentiate yourselves in crowded market spaces.
You bet.
Uh,
Absolutely.
well, going on to my next question, how do you foresee emerging technologies like AI, which has been the talk of the town, influencing the development and success of future ecosystem partnerships?
Yeah, I mean, AI is just going to transform a lot of things across many different disciplines and markets and technologies, and partnerships is no different. Honestly, it is. what can you automate? What can you simplify? What can you reduce to increase productivity and so on? AI can do a lot of those things. What is interesting is that AI could, if AI could, we could get to a point of having AI surface, insights on partner to partner data, where you're looking at populations of data, you're looking at various stages of where your opportunities are versus somebody else's customers or their opportunities and so on. Having sort of an engine or an AI figure out and promote up insights and deliver that to somebody that's in a sales role or marketing role is can be pretty powerful to drive that. The other thing that AI is really helping us do, and Blake Williams is the founder of a company called Growth Story, who's doing amazing things over there. But Growth Story's purpose is to help scale up joint value propositions in a really fast and scalable way so that you can get partnerships active and producing much quicker, because that usually takes a long time as articulating those things. But using AI to help develop those things and spin those joint value propositions up and landing pages and other things and marketing assets to get going really quickly is amazing. Like, it just shortens the time to value on a partnership so much. So there's really interesting examples of how AI is influencing the development of ecosystems at a much more rapid pace and then surfacing insights as well.
And the best thing I love about AI is that it takes up all our manual work and it lets us do what we humans do best, which is building relationships.
Yep, you betcha.
um, on a slightly negative note, talking about partnership failures. So, all your past experiences with partnerships, what lessons have you learned from your partnership failures? What advice would you give businesses looking to build or join an ecosystem today?
Yeah, I've had a few, that's for sure. But you learn, some of the best learnings come out of that. Um, One that strikes me is really take the time to understand who your IPP is, so your ideal partner profile. Ideal partner profile is important because if you go out and start recruiting partners and they end up being the wrong kind of partner to ultimately do what's needed from an overall joint go to market and a partner programming perspective, really you're not setting yourself up for success. So the example I have here is that there's a partner program where we set up more of a reseller channel where we thought there was a certain type of partner that could go out and would be ideal for. It turns out that that partner was great for collaborating in a creative sense, but what they weren't the right path to market from understanding how to sell, how to package up what we are doing, how to manage those recurring sales. It just wasn't their expertise. Their expertise lay in the actual mobilization of the technology, the creative services around that technology. So what we did is we went to market with a very heavy upfront commitment, and it generated all kinds of ARR, amazing millions, and it all end up churning out of the business. It just created bad business. It just created churn. So while it looked good top line, it was all churning out and creating really bad metrics on the other end. And it was because we identified the wrong partner type to go to market with on this product. And so we spent years building it, and then we just unraveled it all and then switched our strategy. So it ultimately net wasn't an improvement to the business or our growth objectives. Hard lesson to learn.
Well, you rightly said that failures are a great way to learn.
Yep, 100%.
And well, a willingness to learn from setbacks are a key to building successful ecosystem partnerships anyway. So,
Yep.
before I let you go, my last question would be looking towards the future, how do you predict ecosystem led innovation will shape the business landscape in the next decade?
Yeah, it's about harnessing. There'll be advancements in harnessing the power of an ecosystem in a way that can be predictable, managed, and integrated into go-to-market engines right now. So the challenge has always been, how do I capture the power of that ecosystem in a way that's predictable, managed, and part of my overall process? There will be continuous advancements on that. Customers are willing to and showing a propensity to prefer to buy through marketplaces. So there's going to be a proliferation of buying tech through channels like marketplaces and so on, and then orchestrating the activity around those marketplaces and orchestrating the activity around the ecosystems that you're building anyway will continue to get easier and more efficient and more scalable across existing go to market engines. And that's where we're going to really see the hockey stick advantages. Like I said, it's the decade of an ecosystem. I think everybody realizes that it's there. We just have to find the process and the language and the buy-in generally across from a board level on down. And I think that's all happening. So it's really exciting. It's just we just need more time to hit that maturity curve where things are really rocking and rolling. But I think you're just going to see more and more buyers, sellers, marketers, really crystallizing around the ecosystem in the benefit of for the benefit of the customer, period, and that activity will orchestrate itself.
I love the ambition here. It's so energetic to see you talk about partnerships that way.
Love it. It's my passion.
I know it. Well, that's all I had. Thank you so much for being so patient with my questions here, Rob. You did great. You were amazing. And if you all have any questions, feel free to drop any comments below and we will get back to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bunveen.